With it right here with who I started with, we something like a Spartan. It's going hard regardless. I'm from the 826 plus 5. Mo bitches, Uno Central Coast mob and suicide. Always arsonist. I step in the booth and cast. I gotta keep it lit. Engineer all my music. I work hard at this.
That's right, and we're back. Muy buenos dias, the Saturday edition of Chicano Street. Do me a favor, beautiful linda raza, man. Just hit that pinchy like button if you want. Okay, if not, there's a chinga tu madre button right next to it. It's all good. You could hit that. Let's go ahead and do something justice, man. It's Saturday. You guys are at the kickback. You're probably at the lake, at the barbecue, or getting ready to go out there. Well, we just had Chicano Street episode number 3, and I didn't get through everything I wanted to get through because it was more of a celebration. So we're going to talk about it today, man. But again, do me a favor, hit that like. And if you can, you could also hit the share button. The share button linked up to all your pinche teléfonos. And there, right there, you can share it to Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, IG. I want to give a shout out to the Facebook community that's already tapped in, man. Shout out to you. On IG, we're also streaming right now. This is Chicano Street. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, I'll introduce myself. My name is Mikey, born and raised Salinas, California, on January 14th, 1981. Natividad Hospital in the Alisal district. So that's who I am. And we started this Chicano Tube thing 2 Junes ago. So we just hit the 2-year mark. We got knocking on the door at 15K. So shout out to you guys. I want to give a shout out also to all the Raza channels. I want to give a shout out to all the Raza pages, man. I appreciate you guys' full support. Some of us don't get along. It is what it is, right? The fucking brown blood tribalism runs deep. It is what it is. I want to give a shout out though to American Cholo. Shout out to you, man. Of course, Chicano Street right here. Shout out to the fellas with Oompa Knock. Shout out to Raymond. Give a shout out to Hood Stocks, the Hater World, you name it, man. All the big wigs, all what we do on the internet. For you guys, it's all entertainment. So I hope I can keep you entertained at least for an hour. We're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. But before that, we do got a couple special announcements. The first one is we got open sparring. Well, I actually renamed it. It's Mexican Independence Day Sparring. That's going to happen in Upland. A lot of people have been reaching out to me to join the show. Look, listen, man. The only way you're going to get inside the ring is if you're a content creator, okay? And you ain't going to get inside the ring if you're a content creator, only got like 200 followers on IG, okay? Calma tu pedo with that, okay? You got to have more than 200 followers on IG. So again, content creators, it's Mexican Independence Day Sparring. That's going down the day of the Canelo fight, okay? September 13th. We're going to be out of there by 3, the latest, 3:30, because everyone's trying to get to their designated destination for the night. That way we can go ahead and watch Fernando Vargas Jr. co-main event versus Walsh, who's a very tough dude. The dude he's fighting is 17-0. I'm a little nervous for Junior. And then main event, we're going to have Alvarez, and then he's going to fight Terrence Bud Crawford, who, again, to me, is like a 3 top pound-for-pound pinche peleador. So it's going to be Mexican Independence Day Sparring. That's going to happen in Upland. Another announcement, we were going to have Elvia Cadena. She is going to be singing the national anthem, being there, just, doing some media, some video, some photo, just being there mingling, right? She's going to be there for a little bit. So shout out to Elvia Cadena, man. I appreciate you, amiga, always for having my back. And we got a special ring girl. Let me make the announcement right now. Special ring girl. Who's going to be the ring girl for Mexican Independence Day Open Sparring? Drum roll, please. My own little cheesy, pinchy sound effects. The ring girl for open sparring is going to be none other than the very popular, the very loved, the very liked Miss Loca from Boyle Heights. She's going to be the ring girl for open Mexican Independence Day Sparring. So that's going to be in Upland, California. We're going to be in the 909, right in Snowman's backyard. So that's on 9/13. If you guys want to participate, all you got to do is get a hold of me. Either at the number I'll drop right now, or go ahead and get a hold of me on IG, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, right? YouTube, you could drop a comment, but you can't do more than that. Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. There's so much to react to. I'm not even joking, man. This is This is wild. There's so much going on. Snow the Product. Everyone wants me to talk about Snow the Product. I'll talk about Snow the Product, man. Oh, real quick. And then someone sent me a clip. American Cholo, man. Shout out to American Cholo who's doing a little pool live, man. That's what I got to do, man. We got to do little pool lives like that. That's when we get to the 3.0 studio. You know, by the time we get into almost retirement mode, you just see me going live at the pool all the time. But shout out to him. Someone sent me a clip. Look, what American Cholo got going on with the Cali-Mack, as far as uniting La Raza, that's the closest shot that we got to unity. I want to make that very, very clear. The closest shot we got to making change for the brown people is the Cali-Mack movement that American Cholo has. So someone sent me a clip and said, oh, he wants to do another one. Look, I'm there. I'm all for it because I'm all for doing some shit off the YouTube thing. I know 95% of the channels are on here to make money, entertain you guys ultimately at the end of the day. But there's a few of us that do some good in the community off this YouTube thing, right? So absolutely, if something like that happens, he already knows he can count on me. I got his back. It's time to just move this shit forward. And there's a lot of people, obstructors. There's a lot of people that just don't want to see it happen and are pushing different agendas. So if you fuck with us, you better jump on the train. If you don't fucking jump on the train, you're going to get your shit run over or just get to the side of the road, because we're really trying to do some positive change outside of YouTube. I know it's all entertainment, I guess, at the end of the day for a lot of people. It is really just another app on your phone. But I'm all for that. If American Cholo does that Cali-Mack thing, me, the beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife will be there to support and see who else I can bring down there from Northern California on some grown man shit. Some grown man shit, not no gang shit, not no hood shit. That shit's been done, man. Ain't no one trying to catch any more bullets, wake up in the fucking hospital unconscious and with tubes in their fucking stomach. None of that bullshit no more. We're trying to do something positive for the community. I'm all for that, American Cholo. Let's get down like James Brown on that. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and go into Chicano reactions, because you guys love it, man. I'm going to give it to you raw, uncut. Chicano reactions is where I either going to gain followers or I'm going to lose followers. And at the end of the day, I don't give a shit either way. But this is what it is, man. I'm going to give it to you uncut from a Chicano's point of view in 2025, okay? Because let me get back. We don't roll the way our forefathers rolled, you know what I mean? I mean, about trying to beat down all the hoodas and shit like that, it's not gonna really get us anywhere. I mean, it may make for a cool video, right? Oh, you're the man, you held the line and all that shit. But that's not the way we make change. It's 2025. The only way Chicanos are ever going to make a positive change, and we'll talk about ICE and immigration and all that right now, is if we get into position of powers. Once we get into the position of power, our voice is loud enough. Now we can move mountains. And I don't know why some of these influencers don't get it through their noggin. That's the only way we're really going to do and make change. You know what I mean? And if you don't want to unite with us, just get out of the way, man. Here we go. All right. And I am getting over a cold. Chinga su madre. All right, here we go. Let's talk about which one first. Well, let's talk about this one first, because this is the one that at first got mentioned to me a lot. People wanted to see me go ahead and talk about Snow the Product. So we got Snow the Product. Let me give Snow the Product her flowers as far as, first of all, she's a very, very talented individual. I mean, Snow the Product's bar level is like a 9. I mean, a 9. I mean, to be in the 10s, I mean, that's a circle all by itself, right? If you're a 10 in the lyrical level, I mean, you're with Eminem, you're with Jada Kiss, you're with Gangstar, in my opinion. You're in that circle, okay? But she is a solid 9, and she can out-rap most of you dudes. I just got to keep that a buck. So Snow the Product has been pretty verbal as far as what's been happening with immigration. And she recently dropped a song. I don't know if I could play it here. They might strike the channel or some shit, but let me see if we could play a little bit of the rola. Here we go. Que empiece la fiesta, quiero que se sepa que uno de nosotros votó por Trump.
No sé quién fue, pero llegó el sobre y dice el apellido, pero el nombre no. Ahí va la tía con pelos de lote que crió puros hijos que malcriados son. El primo traumado con ser americano.
Okay, so I guess that's what made the whole thing catchy. Jump on social media, people make memes, people pass this along. Is that one of her opening lines? She says, "There's someone here that voted for Trump." Well, I mean, I'm gonna burst your bubble, Snow, but we got 51% of Latinos actually voted for him. Again, politics is a buzz killer. I don't give a shit if you vote for a fucking snail or a turtle. I really don't, man. I don't give a shit. Because at the end of the day, if that's your savior, you're hanging on one man. I mean, shit, you got your priorities all mixed up. But anyways, so Snow the product again. She went ahead and she made a video, and there's a lot of personalities in the video, which is really, really cool. I actually see Duno in the video. Man, shout out to Duno. I see one or two influencers on IG that I also recognize. So shout out to them. And in this video, they have a scene where they have a piñata. Look, you got someone in the back with a Charlie Brown. So, there's cholos there. Look, they got a cutout of Don Francisco. What the fuck is that? They got a cutout of Don Francisco just in the chair. I don't know what Don Francisco's just doing in the chair. You know what I mean? There's the homie. There's the tia. Or the abuelita, more likely. And people are fighting or whatever, right? So, look. In this video, they end up getting an ICE agent, piñata, and they end up beating them down, right? They just grab the pinche palo and they go to town, just like we did on Chicano Street right here with Umpanak. Shout out to Umpanak on his birthday month, all month long. And they end up beating up the ICE agent. So this is what I say right here. To me, you see Don Francisco right there in the background? What the hell? To me, the ICE agent represents... let's say Paco Aguilar, man, and Bound by Honor, right? Let's say Paco Aguilar. So she is basically knocking, beating up Paco. He's on the ground. I get it because the whole immigration thing is getting pushed right now like a bonfire. It's going straight off the internet. It's on deportation, amplification to the highest level, right? Now, do I agree with Snow the Product's politics? I actually don't. For one, I don't think she gives a shit like I do, but I actually don't, right? I think she comes up on the blue side of politics. I lean on the red side of politics because I think on the red side of politics is a little bit closer to what our traditional Mexican roots are, but that's just me. You don't have to agree with me. I don't give a shit if you do or not, right? She probably ends up on the blue side of the politics, and the blue side of the politics tend to be what they call themselves the cool kids, right? Like, we're the cool kids, right? But I will say this. A lot of us have law enforcement inside our family. A lot of us have primos. A lot of us have uncles. A lot of us have tios that are PD, that are sheriff, border patrol. As far as immigration goes, I mean, not too many people have ICE agents in their family, immigration agents, but there can be, but not too many people have that. So Snow the Product does this video right here. She's shooting shots at everyone that voted at Trump. At the end of the day, it's just a lot of, I think it's a waste of time to even shoot anything like that because a lot of us didn't give a shit about politics until a couple of years ago, to be honest. And to the people that are pushing, the hard line with ICE. Okay, calmala, first of all. And second of all, when you push the hard line with ICE, were you doing that for the last 4 years? Ask yourself that question. If not, are you just being gullible and joining the cool kids? That's what you want to do when you want to talk down on ICE. Oh, ICE this, ICE that. Is it you want to join the cool kids? I'm just asking. Now I'm asking questions in general out to the public. When I saw her hit the piñata, that's exactly what I thought about. I'm like, okay, again, there's police officers in our family, PD in our family. She doesn't agree with politics, but she's got a voice, and it's a pretty big voice, right? She's like me. She's a dual citizen. I have property in Mexico. Whenever I want to get out of the United States, I just take off to Mexico, man. I have property in Mexico. I'm living over there. Life is good and all of that. But everything is not what the social media depicts as far as this firestorm with ICE. It really isn't, because the sad thing about it is if they get the right president that they want, someone that they'll back up, someone that's for their color of the aisle, right? Red, blue, or whatever, right? then they'll tone it down and they won't say shit about ICE anymore, even if the numbers dramatically spike. Now they're throwing out 5 million people, 10 million people, 15 million people. Let's keep it a buck, man, because it's their presidential candidate who they support. They won't want to say shit about ICE. Now, some people say, well, it's because, they're throwing them out with less messy. They're less messy as far as when they throw them out. Does it matter how messy they are if they ended up throwing your fucking tío out or not? I'm just saying, how they threw your tío out, my tío out, right? Because I got tíos también, maybe don't have papers. How they threw them out is one thing, but does that matter? Does that change anything? I think not. I think not. Let's go ahead and get back into it, man. Let's keep it pushing. Snow the product. It's a wrap with you. Well. Don't forget to hit that like. We got Raider Tommy. I appreciate you, mi amiga. Javier Bernal. That's right, man. I appreciate you, cabron. All right, here we go. Homeland Security. Well. This is Ice Barbie right in front of the wall, which is the southern border wall. If you're listening on IG, if you're listening on Facebook, do me a favor, man. Hit that pinchy like button. Shout out to you guys, Facebook, IG, and on YouTube, live on all platforms. So let's talk about this right here. Homeland Security Secretary announces plans to paint this entire southern border wall black so it will get hot. Oh, shit. Hotter than some Cheetos. Making it harder for people to climb. Let's see what she says.
Without borders is no nation at all. And we're so thankful that we have a president that understands that and understands that a secure border is important to our country's future. Now, if you look at the structure that's behind me, it's tall, which makes it very, very difficult to climb, almost impossible. It also goes deep into the ground, which would make it very difficult, if not impossible, to dig under. And today, we are also going to be painting it black. That is specifically at the request of the president, who understands that in the hot temperatures down here, when something is painted black, it gets even warmer and it will make it even harder for people to climb. So we are going to be painting the entire southern border wall black to make sure that we encourage individuals to not come into our country illegally, to not break our federal laws, but that they will abide and come to our country the right way so that they can stay and have the opportunity to become United States citizens and pursue the American dream. Remember that a nation without borders.
All right, so there's the Ice Barbie. I guess they call her Ice Barbie. No sé por qué. Does she look like a Barbie? I mean, I'm asking the people now. Does she look like a Barbie? Is it like a model, like tall, slender, thin, or etc., right? I don't know. But Ice Barbie, right? So she's at the border wall. I appreciate you, Mile High Hustle. That's right. My boy, Barrio Tactics. Buenos dias, Mikey. That's right. Just waking up and day is planned for the Niner game and a little tailgating. That's right, cabron. That's right, man. I got the Fire Stick. I just picked up the Fire Stick yesterday, and the homie, shout out to Little Brown. He's going to hook me up with that. He sent me the text message. I just got to set up the Fire Stick. I'm not sure. Javier Bernal, uniting our weirdos. Hey, how about this? Unite my nuts in your fucking mouth. How about that, Bernal? And then Boy Aguilar was cracking, man. It's Saturday morning. All right, let's talk about Ice Barbie. She's in front of the border wall. I did a video and went lightweight viral. I have already crossed the border maybe 5-6 times this year. And someone commented about propaganda. And I'm like, how is it propaganda when I'm down at the fucking border, at the wall, that same place that I was months before, where it was, I couldn't even do a video months before January 20th. There was so many people. And I'm talking about the line was long to the cross. All the line hustlers, I call them line hustlers, were there slanging their what they slang. And I couldn't do a video back then because then you'd see a sea of people behind me. And in the same place, I did a video and it was empty. And this is on a Sunday morning when you would think everyone and their mama is going to cross back into the States, right? But it was empty. And I did a video saying, well, this shit shut down. It's airtight. There's no open border. I don't expect there to be until another president gets in, unless Republicans hold house and do another 4-year term after that, which I still want amnesty for DACA and immigration to get reformed. And we're pushing hard, man. Some of us are pushing real, real hard. Other people just want to sell wolf tickets, come wolf online. and push other crazy shit. That doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, the border wall in its original color is like a rustic kind of brown. Okay, I don't know if you knew that. Anyone that's seen the border wall, right? It's like a rustic brown. They did this video in front of the section that they already painted black. Damn, that's crazy. So you paint the wall black, I think it triples, not doubles, the temperature of the slats. Those are really all just slats that are going about, I don't know if it's 50 feet high, and they're going just the same amount of distance as high as they are going all the way to the ground. Now, what I do remember is 2 times, 47 and 45, the president right now, right, that people get triggered when I mention them and all that shit. It's like, you never gave a shit about, neither did I give a shit about politics before 2016 or before 2024 or anything like that, right? Because when it was 2020 and all you heard on the news is inflation and prices going up, you didn't give a shit and drop one meme, but I guess they're dropping memes now. I remember he tried to get DACA amnesty. And the same influencers, they say they're for the brown raza people. The same influencers said no. They did not want it because their allegiance was more to their political party than it was to the brown people. If their allegiance was to the brown people, it didn't matter who's pitching the bill. It didn't matter who's stretching out their hand. You're hanging off a pinchy cliff. It didn't matter who's stretching out their hand to pull you up to safety. But for these influencers, it did. It did matter to the point where they're not the real leaders that we need in positions of power because they will sell us out quicker than shit. Or else they would have said, okay, look, all they want to do, and they ended up getting their fucking wall anyways. Look, there's a wall. There's a wall. And it's done. Every mile is done. Okay, the wall is secure. The border is secure. It's been 8 months. They got that shit going, especially with the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill. They funded the rest of it. So the wall was coming anyways. If you would have got a second term, why not say, fuck it, 2 million people have citizenship in DACA? Why not? Oh, because it's red. Oh, because it's blue. That sounds like some gang banging ass shit, man. Some gang banging shit. But here it is. They painted it black. It's getting hot. Less people are going to scale over it. I'm going to move on from it because this is a trigger subject that people just get all their panties all up in a bunch. And I don't know why, because immigration has been happening forever, man. I seen my own dad get taken a few times, right? I mean, it didn't last because he's jumping over that border. Like he was back in like the second or third day, right? But one time he did get kidnapped. One time my pops got kidnapped. He was in a room. They called us for money. Mom's was real, desperate. I didn't know what to do. But again, back then I was just banging 100%. So, my mentality was different, right? I was like, well, that's some parent shit. And I was just banging 100%, right? This 90s. And he ended up crossing over. He jumped over some barbed wire. He showed up at the door with his hands all bleeding, man. All bleeding from crossing over. And he was like, yeah, they probably looked at his face and said, oh, este tiene dinero. And they tried to get some money. But that didn't avail. And he escaped, man. He escaped. All right, let's go back. Chicano reactions, man. Let's see what they got. That's right. Mile High Hustle says the ice box. Orale, vital attack, the Trump order attack on the cartels. Let's put that one up right there. He said, Barrio Tactics said, did Trump order... Does it pop up? Did I put it in the chat? Let me see. Hold on. It's not popping up. Wait. Yeah, don't forget to hit that pinchy like, man, before we continue our day. I think we're going to go to a water park today. The kids want to go to a water park. I'm going to take them to a water park after a little bit of business. Let me see if it works now. There it is. Did Trump order an attack on the cartels? So we're gonna get into Nicolas Maduro. They definitely put a contract on that cabron's head, the U.S. government, and we'll talk about what he's doing to fucking to hurt the U.S. government or the U.S. people. Let's say anyone that's here, right? Americans here in the U.S., right? But as far as attack on the cartels, anything that's coming into the U.S. side for sure now is not safe from law enforcement when it comes to the cartels, right? That's why they're going to go after Maduro, the Venezuelan president, right? What blows me away is that most of these social media influencers push a socialism agenda. They will actually put that on their social media. I'm not kidding. They push, most of these social media influencers want like universal basic income, universal health care, which I don't disagree in a sense with universal health care if there was a way to do it in a sustainable fashion. I want to see it work that way. But I don't think it's gonna ever work that way, right? Because some people are just don't want to work, and it is what it is, right? So that's like, okay, the people that want to work don't want to pay for the people that don't want to work. That's where socialism gets fucked up. Anyways, so yeah, the ideologies that they push, it's insane because socialism has ruined every single country it's ever put its paws on, man. You want me to give you some examples? One, Cuba. How about that? These are countries people are actually fleeing from. They're not running to these countries. They're leaving these countries. That makes you ponder, why are people leaving these countries? That's just a normal question, right? Instead of, what can the United States do to be better to people that are coming to the United States? How come no one is saying, what can these other countries do to change to make their own residents want to stay in that country? Well, unfortunately, governments have a lot to do with it, and socialistic rulers and dictators have a lot to do with it. I don't know why these IG influencers push a socialistic agenda. I get it, though. It sounds, what you want to say, sexy, because back in the revolution uprisings, even during the Chicano movement, right, they saw they were against the same things, capitalism, right? Which to me, capitalism is only one thing. It's removing a ceiling from on top of your head on how much money you can earn. That's all it is, man. So if capitalism is removing a ceiling from how much you can earn, the next obvious move for me and you Chicanos in 2025 would be, okay, how can we get our hands on the blueprint to succeed and fucking bust through the same ceilings? The blueprints are all out there, man. Everyone is either selling their blueprint, giving their blueprint away on YouTube. People like me, people like FC, shout out to FC, doing the podcast, Too Much Game, are giving you guys all the blueprint. Matter of fact, there's another clip that I'm going to drop that FC told me about in the real estate office. I think it was like a day or two ago. He goes, hey, how come you didn't drop the clip on children's credit? How your children, while they're in high school, can start developing their credit by being on your credit cards. And there's a couple little things that you got to do, not having them spend your money, but adding them to your already established accounts gets them a FICO score developing while they're in high school. I was like, damn, that's a nugget. So I am going to drop that one. But look, the blueprint's out there. If you hate capitalism, I think it just has to do with the what you can call propaganda, or what you want to call your political parties or beliefs, whatever you want to call it, right? Let's not call it propaganda, because it is beliefs. There are some people that say, no, universal basic income is going to be the only way to go, right? I think it's the lazy way to go, and I don't think it's sustainable, because how the hell is that going to be funded, right? It's the same reason we shouldn't have 20, 50, well, it was like 11 to 15 million people jammed in the country no one knows about. Again, not knocking the raza. A lot of it aren't even Mexicans. To be honest, a lot of the people in Mexico, they love the Mexican life, which is the simple life. Not having to worry about your bills, not having to worry about the next, plate of food. It's the simple life, man. I remember one time I was coming through Baja California, right? I was driving up from Ensenada, Tecate, or something like that, right? And I seen this couple walking on the side of the road, and they had their son's hand, right? The dad had the son's hand, and the mom was on the other side of the boy, and he had the son's hand. And it was like Tecate, the city of Tecate. And if you know Tecate, it has huge like dust storms, right? O sea, la pinche tierra is just flying across the thing. Excuse me. And I'm like, this is when I realized the meaning of happiness, man. The meaning of happiness. I'm like, look at this couple, man. They probably barely have 2 nickels to scrape together, man. Barely 2 nickels. And they're picking the boy up. They're laughing. The dad threw the boy on his shoulder. He's putting him back down, leaning over, kissing the wife. I'm like, that is happiness. A lot of people are searching for it in material things, but it's an internal decision. That's happiness. And I'm like, look, man, they barely have 2 nickels to rub together. But I'm like, that's the simple life that you get in Mexico. Right here, we stress a lot, man. We lose about a quarter of our lives stressing. And we're in a system in the United States where they want you to retire by putting in, 40, 50 years of work and then enjoying only 10 years of your life on the back end. I don't agree with that. I think we need to come up with another system in the United States. I mean, shit, at least if we're going to push that, the working 40 hours a week agenda, I mean, how about make it 4 days a week and get the people 3 days off? I would like to see that implemented. I think that will lift the morale overall. I think that's a system that can work. But again, you got to work out all the details in order to get that cracking. But let me go back to it. Did Trump order an attack on the cartels? Bro, Trump don't fuck around, bro. He's one of the guys, people hate him because he just fucking shoots straight. I'm not saying he's a perfect dude. No, absolutely. He's not a perfect dude. As soon as he got in the office, he did NDA with hookers and all kinds of shit. I'm like, of course, he's paying off people that won't say shit. But again, nothing crooked, nothing legally wrong. They threw 34 felonies at him, but those 34 felonies were really not at him. Those 34 felonies were at the NDA lawyers, because they're saying in a room full of lawyers, I'm stepping into office on January 20th. In a room full of lawyers, we work out all the finite details, right? Okay, this, that. Everything is transparent and open. They're saying what took place in a room full of lawyers. Hear me, gente. Maybe you've never heard it delivered this way. They're saying the 34 felonies on Trump, that in a room full of lawyers, with what all these lawyers did, there was 34 felonies done. It's hard to believe, right? With people that have the highest level of integrity in a profession where you have to have your ethics, I mean, at the very highest level. If not even going to pass the bar exam, or why would you want to do that and then have low ethics? It doesn't make sense. Most of them are very integral. So that's what happened. So I'm like, I think it was just a political 34 felonies, but it is what it is. It's 34 felonies nonetheless. I mean, if me and you had 34 felonies, we'd be fucking going to the Leno, right? All right, let's go, man. So as far as the cartels go, we are gonna talk about Angel del Villar, because he took 4 years on the chin without even hesitating, man. Let's go ahead and bring him up right now. Where's Scout on that? Hit that pinchy like button. If you're watching on IG, if you're watching on Facebook, I appreciate you. It's Chicano Street Reactions. Here we go. Who is this coming out of? This is coming from, oh, man, shout out to 44 Vato. He just started following me yesterday. That's right, man. I appreciate you, 44 Vato, man. I've been saying it, man. Tú eres otro pinche Chicano, man, but you've been breaking through some fucking walls, bro. You have more views, likes, comment, engagements than most news stations. That's a huge accomplishment, man. He just posted that the other day. So shout out to him. He's a Chicano. I think is he from LA or I think he's from Colorado, Denver. I'm not sure. My bad, 44 Vato, man. But shout out to you and shout out to everyone in Vatoville. All right, here's another one, gente. So, again, we didn't get a chance to talk about none of these things during Oompah celebration. We were just throwing money in the air. 20 racks. I pulled out 20 racks so we could just play with it and shit like that. 20 racks. 10 racks fell out of the fucking piñata right on the table in the end. 10 racks went boom, right there. Pues aquí están todavía. I remember the kids came in and the kids were like, hey, but that's how you know you raise kids the right way, man. My kids are not going in, they're not coming in here, right? They're not looking at the feria or anything like that, man. I raised really, really good kids. It's true what they say, that your kids are an honest reflection of who you are, right? Who you are. And again, it just goes to show, like Chester, the fucking rubber chicken, we already know who he is, Maniaco Marv, perfect reflection. They don't fuck with you because you're just a shady ass motherfucker. All right, here we go. Angel del Villar, let's read it. This is coming from 44 Vibe XL. That's a different page, right? But that's his page, right? It says, Angel del Villar addresses Gerardo Ortiz on live video after being sentenced to 4 years in prison. Don't be informing, kids. So before we play the video, we're gonna hear Angel del Villar. Again, this is CEO of what is it called? What's the name of his label? Del something records, right? It's kind of like his last name, Del. Man, what's his thing? I don't know. Anyways, okay. So he went through a legal battle where he was just, and I think it drug on, right, for like a year, 2 years, etc. It took him a while because if you have money, you're able to postpone all these things, be on the calles, when you go through your sentencing and deal with all that, but you deal with it on the streets, right? If you have money and if you have bail, right? So he has a lot of popular artists on his label. One of them is este cabrón he's a perro, man. He's a good pinche corrido singer. But unfortunately, I mean, he did end up telling. I know. He ended up telling. We'll get into that. But anyways, let's get back to it. So as he's okay, cálmase, you want to throw tomatoes because someone told. I get it, man. Shit, man. You're gonna have to live with that the rest of your life. If you have people that are doing time because of you, that's all bad. That shit is gonna come back to you 100 different ways. Absolutely, man. Anyways, so he went ahead and got sentenced. He got sentenced to 48 months in federal prison for his cartel ties to CJNG, right? Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación. These guys don't play. Allegedly were the same guys that took out Pirata de Culiacán. A lot of people remember that. Matter of fact, Pirata de Culiacán actually reminds me of Oompah. Actually reminds me of Oompah. Shout out to Oompah Knock. They're also allegedly the ones that took out Pirata de Culiacán. So again, they got this guy with ties to it, but that's separate. I believe it's separate because I believe they investigated the company in and out, like audited the company, audited the money, audited the transactions from the company, everything. And I believe they didn't find anything when they audited the company, right? So his dealings are personal dealings. They're not mixed in with the business dealings. Absolutely not. All right. Now let's hear what he had to say, man. So here is coming from the mouth of one of the bosses, man. I mean, he just added more notches over to his belt because he took 4 years on the chin and held his mud, right? Here we go.
Es como les dije, salir porque todos los informantes, se los digo, chavalones, pongan atención. Son desechables, te exprimen como un limón y de ahí ya no sirves. Que Dios lo bendiga al amigo, ¿no? En su momento no lo niego, no lo voy a negar, lo quise mucho, lo apoyé demasiado y fueron 9 años. Yo prefiero 1000 veces, como les dije, salir porque todos los informantes, se los digo, chavalones, pongan atención. Son desechables, te exprimen como un limón y de ahí ya no sirves. Que Dios lo bendiga al amigo, ¿no? En su momento no lo niego, no lo voy a negar, lo quise mucho, lo apoyé demasiado y fueron 9 años. Yo prefiero 1000 veces, como les dije, salir.
All right. So here's what he said right there. He's saying it's something funny too. Dios lo bendiga and all this other stuff. It's like, cálmate, güey. First estás aventando, under the bus and saying he's a rat and that he told and all that stuff. And then in the same sentence, pues Dios lo bendiga and oh man, that's funny as hell. Yeah, Dios lo bendiga, right? So what he's saying right here is, as far as informants go, what they do is, they're gonna end up probably relocating you, etc. They always end up going for hitting you where it hurts. You know what I mean? The weakest guys. The weakest guys are the ones that turn informant. It don't matter how many bodies you caught. It don't matter. It don't matter how many people you thumped. It don't matter. It don't matter, like in the case of Sammy Gravano, if you're way up in the organization, whatever you were involved in, it don't matter if you're like the second seat, the second in command to whatever floats your boat organization that you're in. It don't matter. All of that goes out the window. All of it. Everything goes out the window the moment you tell. So now that he's sentenced, he threw a shot and he's like, fuck it. I'm already sentenced. I got 48 months. I'm going to go and sit down for a while and come right back out to his empire. Again, I don't think he's going to lose any business as far as his artists go. I know it looks bad. The CEO had ties, but they audited the hell out of the business and the finances, and there was nothing there. So the business is legit. The business can keep being conducted. If you don't want to affiliate yourself, that's fine too, but everything's a contract. No one's doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. Everything's a contract. Whatever you sign on that pinchy dotted line is what you're obligated to. Keep it pushing, man. Do your albums, do your music, etc. But he had one of the most epic discourses, whatever you want to call them, monologues, when he left the courthouse a couple months ago. And he said, this guy, and he was suited up, looked like John Gotti, suited up and everything. And he was like, I'd rather 1,000 times be in custody, staring at a cement wall for years, than to walk on the streets as a rat. All right, let's keep it moving. I want to go ahead and see some comments real quick, man. Don't forget to hit that like, man. Live on IG, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. The Saturday morning edition. I remember as a kid, a Saturday morning, I couldn't wait to watch, what was it? Thundercats and all those kind of cartoons. And they don't have those no more. Again, I'm born in 81, cabrones. I'm not that old. Do I look old? No, I don't look old. They released Killmore. Oh, here's another one. That's pretty good. That was a good one, way. All right. So, Boy Aguilar right there. He's got the Raider hat, or the Raider hard hat, man. It's I think the last game is either today or the preseason or tomorrow, right? Me and you, we went head up last week and shit. And I think it was just a field goal that made us get the W. They released Killmore. What a name, huh? Shit. Killmore. I don't even know if he has bodies. They released Killmore Abrego Garcia yesterday. How long will it be before ICE picks them up again? Chinga. That's crazy. That's crazy. A lot of people call Kilmar Abrego Garcia the Maryland man, right? Just the regular Maryland guy, right? Now imagine though, I mean, it's not fair they can't do this to everyone, but imagine you get arrested and the governor of your state goes to bat for you against the federal government. That is the reason Kilmar Abrego Garcia is out of custody. Now it's on you. I mean, it's on you whether you're in this camp or in that camp. One camp says release him, release everyone ICE is arresting, even the people that are people, even the people that burn down houses, even the people that track down joggers, are them, SA them, throw them in bushes, throw them in ditches. This sounds real heinous and graphic. But there's a lot of people, your favorite influencers, a lot of your favorite influencers want those people out. They won't admit it. They won't admit it. They will never say this on a microphone. They will never say this on a camera that's recording. Oh, no, I wouldn't want someone who R's and SA's a girl to be released. But then they'll post to release the Maryland man or release the fucking Idaho man, the whatever he comes from, the North Dakota man. They won't say it, but because their allegiance lie more to politics, they will go that route. So a lot of people were saying, free Kilmar, free Kilmar, free Kilmar. He's a Maryland man. Okay. And then the federal government was dropping paperwork on him. They were saying this guy was trafficking people over the border for MS-13. But wait a second. But it's Trump wants him out of here. If Trump wants him out of here, I don't give a shit what he does. I don't want to hear it. He arted someone. I don't want to hear that. He SA'd someone. I don't want to hear that. Free him. He trafficked about 100,000 women. I don't want to hear that. Free him. Free him. Free him. It's exactly where we're at right now. We're on some cartoon ass shit where, damn, that was crazy, man. Clip that shit. All right. So how long will it be for ICE? I don't know, bro. But not many people have governors go and see them, etc. Right? If he was guilty of all those things, he would have got a trip to CCOT. You know what I mean? He would have got a trip to CCOT. All right, let's put that one down, man. People get mad at that one, cabrón. They're going to get mad at that shit. Cuba, absolutely. Mile High Hustle. Have you seen those videos of like Cuban living? It's crazy, bro. The sidewalks are full of trash, right? Remember it was a couple years ago, people were getting mad at a comment. It was like at a rally. It was a comedian. I forgot which comedian. He said something about Puerto Rico. No disrespect to Puerto Ricans. Absolutely not. But comedians no tienen pelos en la lengua. What are you supposed to hold against a comedian? A comedian is supposed to get you butt hurt. That's the comedian's job. It's you showing immaturity. That's the reason you want to get all upset and stand up and flip them off and all that shit. Why'd you go to the comedy show in the first place? You know he was going to try to get under your skin. Cálmate. You know what I mean? But anyways, people start shouting and yelling. Before I move on to Cuba, I want to say this also as well, gente. All this shouting and yelling and wolfing and all this other shit that guys do. Let me say this. Any guy that shouts, that yells, that wants to overly exert this kind of feminine energy is absolutely producing feminine energy when they shout. That's a fact. That's a fact. Men, we are not supposed to have those traits and attributes. Shouting and yelling and getting... I'll tell you why. Men are supposed to lead their families, gente. It's the man. The man is supposed to be the one to catch the arrows and the bullets before his family gets hit. Before the wife, But for the kids, it's the man that's supposed to catch all the bullets and arrows and everything. Now, if men operate with feminine tendencies, yelling, shouting, getting all loud, and getting out of control, imagine how many families would have been fucked off, destroyed, because men are operating with feminine energy. No, to the contrary, the men are supposed to operate in masculine energy. What that means is composure. We need to be composed. We need to be the one that think things through. We need to be the ones to think 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead in order to avoid any kind of damage, hurt, trauma, whatever you want to call it, from happening to our families. But a lot of times these men, they get to shouting, they get to yelling. Look, you tap into all that feminine energy all you want, man. There ain't no feminine energy over here. Excuse me. So anyways, back to Cuba. The comedian said Puerto Rico is a dump, right? And since the comedian said that, it was at a Trump rally. Since the comedian said that at a Trump rally, they're going to throw it on the president, right? Oh, fucking this and that. See, the kind of America you want and the kind of, cálmate, cabrones, man. Get a life, man. They don't spend 1 minute at their fucking city hall advocating. They don't spend 1 minute sitting at a city council meeting to try to make change. They don't spend 1 minute doing anything, passing out food, blankets, anything for the community. But you want to be a meme humanitarian and tell people what's right and what's wrong. Calma tu pedo, güey. But anyways, but in Puerto Rico, if you didn't know, Puerto Rico has a huge sanitation problem. Huge. Like, they don't have United States sanitation systems where you don't smell the shit walking down every street. They don't. I don't know if it's either their processing of the sanitation. One of the steps is missing because it is literally like a landfill. There's parts that are just landfills out in the open, and they're very common. It's like driving down the road. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And you'll see people inside of those landfills picking out recyclables. That is lightweight socialism, like Cuba, like Hustle was saying, socialism. I had a buddy, he went to Cuba, right? And when he got with his family, he told me this story, right? When he went to Cuba and when he got with his family, he ended up unpacking his suitcase. When he unpacked his suitcase, true story, right here, my buddy, shout out to him. When he unpacked his suitcase at his family's house in Cuba, he had brought some beef jerky. He packed some beef jerky snacks for the travel, right? I don't know how many hours it is, 8 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours. I don't know how many the flight is to Cuba. He said when he pulled the beef jerky out of the suitcase, the family got a look of terror in their eyes. And he was like, he couldn't understand, like, why are they tripping? They looking like scared out of their minds. You know why? Excuse me. Because in Cuba, you can't eat beef. In Cuba, you can only export the beef. That means the government, socialistic, right? The government only wants to gain profit from the sale of the beef and rather not have that luxury given over to its people. Socialism. But people want socialism. Again, it's sexy, right? Socialism has been part of all the uprisings and all the movements. Most of them have had socialistic roots, right? And I still don't know why. Because you got people that come from Cuba, land in Florida, immediately see the two-system political system that we have in the United States and automatically gravitate more toward the red side. Because the red side at least has its sight on all those socialistic things and wants nothing to do with them. And then the blue side, it wants them all for some reason. But yet they live in posh mansions. They live in HOA exclusive communities, put their kids in private schools, and at the same time are telling you these socialistic ideas. I don't know how that makes sense. But anyway, let's go back. I appreciate you, Mile High Hustle. What's going on over here, man? Carlos Blanco says, creeping on 15K. That's right, my boy. I appreciate you, man. We just been grinding, man. It's been 2 years, man. Irony returns. That's right, my boy. Man, shout out to Tecate, Baja California. That's right, Daniel Perez. That's right, cabron. The drama queens. That's right. I appreciate you. Kimo Sabi's in the casa. That's right, cabron. I appreciate you. Respetos Chicano too. Yeah, man. We're doing a Saturday morning edition, gente, before we keep it pushing. I think I'm going to go to a water park today. I haven't even ate breakfast. Literally just took a quick little playa. And just washed up and just said, I'm gonna jump in the studio and do something because I want to cover a couple things. But Kimo Savi's in there, man. He's been a day oneer. I used to see Kimo Savi a lot on West Coast Graffiti's channel all the time. West Coast Graffiti, shout out to him. I want to say this, man. West Coast Graffiti was one of the few that actually kept his fucking word. And he was like, man, if I ever lose my channel, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm not gonna try to build up. He had 10K when it went down. And it was a slow 10K. It was like, I think he was on YouTube like 4, 5, 6 years, right? Something like that. It was a slow 10K that he got. We got 15 in 2 years. And, but he just said, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm living my life. Absolutely, man. The real shit is when you get off this internet. But right here, it's fun, man. It's entertaining as hell, man. So anyway, let's keep it pushing. But Kimo Sabi, I appreciate you, cabron. And Zen and Blaze says, ¿Qué huele contigo? Pues, ¿qué huele, güey? You got a michelada right there? That's right, my boy. I don't know if I'm going to have a cheat day today, man. Yesterday, me and the wifey went to, I bought my Ray-Bans again, gente, because I don't know if I told you this. When I went to my partner's house, he lives off on the Delta, over there by Sakura. I was on the inner tube with my daughter, and we're like this wide one where you just kind of hold on, and you're just, kind of skating on the water. Well, we flipped it. And the Ray-Bans went to the bottom of the Delta. Damn, man. They just floated. $260 Ray-Bans floated. So yesterday we went to Gilas. Shout out to the beautiful, smoking, sexy hot wife. We did date night. And I said, hey, let's go eat. And then we're going to go to the Ray-Ban place. And I want to buy them again. So I bought the Ray-Bans yesterday again. Same ones, brand new ones. And we went to a Brazilian restaurant. The steakhouses, the Brazilian ones where you got the little pinchy tarjeta right there. You turn it red, green. Green means pitch to me all your carnes, right? Red means stop. Don't pitch to me nothing. I'm eating and I'm not hungry, right? That was cool. That was yesterday. All right, here we go. Let's see what else we got. We're going to get into. We talked about Snow the Product, Angel del Villar. What else we got cooking? All right, let's get to this one right here because we didn't really address this one. All right. So anyways, this is this moment during No Jumper where this guy right here so that's Almighty Suspect. He's laughing, right? And okay, there's a chick. Well, I think she's a female, right? There's she's what I call a butch chick, right? I don't even know if that's a word. A butch chick. Anyways, she's what you call like a butch chick. Like there's women that dress like men. And to each his own. And like I said, I don't give a shit what you dress like. I don't give a shit who you go to bed with. I don't give a shit about none of that. That's your business, man. That's not my business, right? But it's funny because even children, in their natural, su naturaleza de los niños o las niñas, right? Like my son Matthew, right? He was an 8th grader. But when he was little, my wife would put something blue and something pink, right? Like, Matthew, you want to wear this? And she'll point to the pink thing. And my son is like, hell no, I don't want to wear that. Again, that's a boy or a natural child without them being coerced, right? When people say, hey, my 3-year-old son wants to be like this and all that. No, they don't. They don't want to do that. You want them to be like that. But again, that's a whole nother topic. So anyways, this butch chick, I think her name is Hellcat. She ended up, they're on No Jumper, gente. They're on No Jumper. And they ended up clowning on each other, right? So this dude in the white jersey, they call him Bo Jackman, okay? I'm assuming that's just a stage name, an artist name. Like you could be MC Fly, MC Cool, Bo Jackman, whatever. Because when you hear Bo Jackman, it absolutely does not come off as a raza name. I mean, let's just keep this a buck, cabrones. I mean, if it was Luis Garcia, Jose Ramirez, or some shit, right? Or even if it had another stage name, right? El Pariente, El Primo, something, right? You'd be like, okay, this dude's, sounds Latino, whatever, raza, whatever you want to call it. So he probably is Mexican. He's really like fucking, I mean, se oye bien whitewashed. Like just, I mean, se oye como habla, ¿verdad? Nomás que se oye bien americano, almost with like an accent, right? Like a really, like, I don't know, like maybe an accent, but very, very whitewashed como americano. They get into it. Now, this is what I want to ask the people right here, okay? How would you take it if you were in a podcast setting, just like they are right here? You got 6-8 people, right? And you're getting into it with someone, and she's an Africana or African-American lady, right? Again, dressed like a dude. She could identify as a unicorn for all I give a shit. But it's a lady. Don't forget that fact. You can't forget that fact. Why? I mean, even if she identifies as a guy, wants to be a guy, swears on 10 Bibles she's a guy, she's a lady. She's a Y chromosome, okay? So you can't forget that, because there's no way, especially here on Chicano Street, we're never going to condone putting your hands on a lady. You don't do that. The only people that put their hands on ladies are cowards. Are absolute cowards. It's not even a fair, it's not the right thing to do, number one. And it's not even a fair thing to do, number two. And three, again, it just makes you a coward, right? Because again, men have 60% more muscle mass. 60. Some people say 70, but I've heard different statistics. 60 to 70% more muscle mass is what the anatomy makes it even more unfair, right? So you got to keep that in mind, even if she's dressed like a dude and has Timberlake boots on, whatever, right? So say you're in a podcast, and next thing you know, this butchy chick is saying, well, go back to Home Depot. Well, I'm going to call ICE on you, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. How would you take it? Is that clear, blatant disrespect? I'm asking the people now. I'm asking the community. If you want to drop a comment, you could drop a comment. Is that clear, blatant disrespect? Or is it, we just shoot the shit? Anyone can say anything about ICE and Home Depot and all that, and it's not really anything. I mean, look, we used to clown around a lot, and I'm talking about black and brown, right? I remember being in the camps, right? I went to a couple camps when I was a teenager. And I remember we're being inside those camps, and, black and brown was everyone had their own pockets of people, but there would be times that we would be, like in school, we had to be in school together, right? We had to go over to the portables, the school line, and all this other shit, right? Go unlock to be able to go to school and stuff like that. And the times that we were together, we would talk shit, man, but we would talk like major shit. I'm going to keep it a buck. These are things you can't say now because of cancel culture, right? They'll cancel your ass. And first of all, I don't give a fuck if you try to cancel me or not. I really give two flying fucks, right? But some people are like, oh, my reputation, my name, my online appearance, if you fuck with me, you fuck with me. If you don't unsubscribe, this is the wrong channel for you. Let's just keep that straight now. But we used to say things like that. Like they would say tamales and this and that. And we would say like other things like that and back and forth. And everybody laughing. Not this kind of environment that they have now on social media, right? But different time, Here we are in 2025. I'm going to ask the people, if someone says something like that, is that crossing the line? I'm going to ask the people, is that crossing the line? He got shoved right there by the girl Hellcat, but he did the right thing and kept his hands to himself. To himself, right? You're not going to put your hands on a lady, right? Now, I will say this. If there was ever, it's never going to happen because we don't put ourselves in these situations, right? But if there was ever a situation, say, Miss Chicano Tube, right? Like there was a couple girls, trying to get at her. I would clear those girls away from Miss Chicano Tube at all costs. At all costs. My number one obligation is to protect my wife. So don't get that twisted. Okay. I'm not saying what I would do, I would just say I would get these girls away from her. That's what I'm saying in general from Miss Chicano Tube. But he did the right thing, kept his hands to himself. I mean, he would have just, that would have been a moment, right? That probably would have hit the YouTube Yarda Awards this New Year's if it would have escalated. But he did the right thing. Last thing on this, before we move on and keep it pushing, because we got a lot to talk about before we get the day going, is almighty suspect laughing too much? It's one of those laughs that escalates things, in my opinion. It's one of those laughs that is going to trigger it to go to another level. But again, we'll leave it up to the people and see what the people think, man. Did they go too far right there, or does it not? Is No Jumper the new Crash Out podcast now in California or not? I actually think if they don't calma su pedo over there at No Jumper, and I'm talking about Adam, right? That there is going to be a serious wreck happening over there at some time or another. There is no way you're going to have, let me say this, man. Let me move this over here. Can't even see. Where is it? Oh, here it is. There is no way you're going to have a podcast where you, broadcast or say, put on these titles that the Hoovers and this guy told and this guy this and 8 trays and RSCs and Pyrus and all. There's no way that's ever all the way going to go down with some kind of pinchy crash out altercation. I think there's going to crash. There's going to be a big crash on YouTube. On No Jumper one day with all of these groups that he's trying to bring to the table. At the end of the day, he's trying to make money. He's making money off the streets. The streets ain't making that money, but he's making money off the streets. Absolutely. Now, you had a Rico just go down a couple months ago, and absolutely they used No Jumper podcast footage as part of their evidence. To me, that whole fucking podcast is wired up. It's wired up. It's like the only reason street guys go over there is for clout, man. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Am I saying would I turn down the interview to go over there? I'd consider it because of what it's going to do as far as exposure goes. But that this guy for sure is making money off the streets, something's going to happen. There's going to end up being a train wreck, huge train wreck. And then right after the train wreck happens, he's going to come back, capitalize on it, and do numbers. That's all he wants, right? It's his business, right? I get it. I'm not knocking him for his business or his business model, but some business models are not worth it, man. Me inviting a bunch of gang members over to Chicano Street is not going to be it. Is not going to be it. It's just like me telling war stories. That's not going to be it. That's not my legacy. Me telling war stories, is that going to be my legacy? Hell fucking no. That's not my legacy. Man, we turned that shit around. So as far as the No Jumper thing goes, I don't know. That guy is just crashing out 100 miles an hour. It is what it is. Some people enjoy the entertainment. Let's keep it pushing at them. All right. So shout out to Lucky Sun Zoo and Hood Stocks, another one of my favorite podcasts. I wasn't subscribed until last year. Last year is when I subscribed for a couple years. I had already known of it because it's a huge platform. It's like you have to be a pendejo or sleeping under a rock to not hear a podcast of Hood Stocks podcast. But it's like I didn't. The street talk is like I heard so many years of street talk and I've been in those conversations so much. I didn't. It wasn't entertaining to me to just hear street talk. But when Lucky crashed out about 3 times last year and made the YouTube Yarda Awards, I jumped on board. I said, "Oh hell no!" And then I realized why they gravitated toward Lucky as well is because he's very authentic. He's very genuine in what he does and who he is. And so that's why Lucky is one of the top podcasts inside of California. And just like he said, he's not a raza podcast. He's not going for that crown at all. Hood Stocks would be like doing Chicano Street right here, but in the hood. Like when I go to the In-N-Out Burger, that's in the hood. The In-N-Out Burger is in the hood. Okay. It's right next to Cesar Chavez Park and Roosevelt Park. It's in the hood, In-N-Out Burger. It's right off the exit. But that would be like doing Chicano Street right there in the hood. Bullets flying by. We duck the bullets and get back to fucking podcasting. But anyways. So shout out to, so he's the he self-proclaimed #1 street podcast in California. You know what? I'm going to stamp that. Shout out to Lucky Sun Zoo, the #1 street podcast in California, right? So we had a good interview right here. This is Anthony Sanchez. It's Anthony Sanchez. Let's go and hear what he got to say. Play it from the beginning. Let's go.
He said it the best. He said, before you know where you're going, you got to know where you come from.
Yes.
So I agree with that. You got to know your past. And I think as Latinos, we got to understand our past. We got to understand that our people ain't crossed no borders. The borders crossed us. We've been here. We didn't come off no fucking banana boat. We've been here. They want to perceive the Latinos or the Mexican people as savages, but we had an empire. We weren't savages. And that's a fact. But people want to try to paint us as foreigners because of our Spanish-speaking descent. But I don't think we're a foreigner. I know my people been here. Definitely, I think Malcolm X said it the best. He said...
Okay, so man, shout out to him, man. Anthony Sanchez over from Texas over there has a very powerful story as far as being from the streets, having all of that plight and struggle held against him, and then excelling from the streets to making, I'm assuming, it looks 6 figures and being an entrepreneur, man. Tango Blast out of Texas. I want to give a huge shout out over to G Code with Sambo. Sambo, one of the founders of Tango Blast. I had the privilege of interviewing him on my podcast. He was there when the whole thing started, just like Santana, JD, and Mundo. And in the end, he ended up giving his life to Jesus. He went out in an honorable discharge fashion. That means, you go up and tell the like OG Bobby Johnson in South Central, honorable fashion, which is go up and just say, hey, you know what? This is my path. My journey is taking another course. And I want to let you guys know respectfully. And, everything you built up, they just ran with it and you kind of stepped aside, did the honorable thing and, did the spiritual thing that's going to reap a lot more benefits than anything we could do carnal, right? So he's talking about being foreigner, Spanish. I think he's going back to that topic of, indigenous natives being here on the land, which I do believe. I don't know about these little YouTube stories. They came over the land bridge and the ice wall and all this. I don't know because I don't know. You don't know neither. All of us can have a bunch of head knowledge from everything we studied. And this is this belief has the most strongest support because of the research I did. That'll be your conviction. But do you really know? Motherfucker, you don't know. You weren't there. You haven't seen the ice wall. Were you there fucking thousands of years ago when the ice wall was formed? Again, so we could all believe different things, and it is what it is, right? I do believe that there were people already here on the continent that they call America. The continent. Not that people had to migrate, people came down. I don't know. Again, I don't know, but I believe there's natives everywhere to their own respective land. That's all. That's what I think he's talking about right there. But let's keep it pushing, man. Shout out to Hood Stocks, the #1 street podcast, man. Don't forget to hit that like, man. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on Facebook, appreciate you guys, man. So here's a comment. I'm going to go ahead and put Nazar, 12 Gates, Israelites. Orale, that's right, my boy. He says, what's the difference between a gang member and a politician? Damn. You know what I mean? Gangsters, right? Real gangsters. Well, what's a real gangster? First thing I'm going to say, Nazar, is a real gangster doesn't want you to know that they're a real gangster. That's the first thing I want to say, right? So that throws out all the being tough on the internet and wolfing and come and see me and all this other shit. That's all feminine energy. Anyone that comments that, come and see me, come and get some. What are we doing wolfing on the internet, right? So again, real gangsters don't want you to know they're real gangsters. Now the politicians are real gangsters. Why? Because you don't call them a gangster. They don't want you to know that they're gangsters, but they pass the bills that line their pockets up, that affect all the people. They make the most powerful moves, man. The politicians do, right? And again, it goes higher than that. Some people just stay on looking at politics. Like, oh yeah, everything is red and blue. It's not red and blue. They don't run the fucking country anyways. Again, in the U.S. government system's eyes, or the people's eyes, the U.S. government runs everything in the land. I get it. Those are laws of the land. I get that. But they don't run everything. You know who runs everything? The richest people in the world. They run everything. As much as you want to admit it or not, they run everything, right? We're not going to talk about oppression and all this other stuff and classes and all that. We're not going to get into that today. But they're real gangsters, man. They're the ones that are going to make the laws that are going to trickle down and affect our communities, right? There's high-level gangsters and there's low-level gangsters. The low-level ones fighting over street corners. Just keep that a buck. All due respect, the youngsters know, right? From Salas, they know how we speak the real, right? Okay? You're going to throw your life away for a street sign that you're never going to get one money order, one JPay, one fucking letter. You're never going to get nothing. You'll get behind the walls. You'll feel the camaraderie for a little bit. But after staring at a cement wall for 5 or 10 years, it's going to start to fade away. In my case, it was losing everyone, man. Imagine you're behind the walls. You're sitting on a Ford 270. Imagine you lose your parents. Imagine you lose your grandparents. You know what's going to happen? Your focus is going to shift, bro. It's going to shift from the homies, the fellas, to what am I doing, man? Again, we don't want to get into that too much, but it is what it is. But let's talk about this guy right here. Holy smoke, man. He just got one of the biggest paychecks in his career. Was it 2 months ago or 3 months ago? One of the biggest paychecks. And they are now tying him over into the cartels of Mexico. Damn, man. This is the U.S. government's going to use this clip right here and be like, mira, just shitting on him. They're shitting on him by putting this video clip out there. Of course, look at him, man. It's not the best moment ever, right? Julio Cesar Chavez. And so let's read the headline coming from ICE. ICE, cabrones. Ooh, that's a taboo word. ICE. Watch out, ICE. Anyways, we removed, oh shit, the ICE says this. We removed Julio Cesar Chavez, a Mexican fugitive wanted in his home nation for firearm, ammunition, and explosives trafficking. Damn. Look what it says next. This criminal, oh Hell no. This criminal has ties to former Sinaloa cartel drug lord El Chapo. Chavez was found living in Los Angeles and arrested July 3rd. Damn, right before the carne asada on July 4th. We turned him over to Mexican authorities at the Nogales port of entry to face justice. Okay, well, they turned him over to Mexico, so now he's really in the custody of Mexico, and they'll do what they're gonna do with them. But damn, what a walk of shame! They're blasting him out there. I will say this: you have to face reality, gente. You have to face reality. Okay, the reality of it is his father, the greatest of all time Mexican boxer, okay? He had 89 wins before he even got a loss, okay? His father. There is no way you can be a prominent figure. I don't give a shit if you're Tyson, the biggest knockout artist, right? It don't matter. They're not scared of you. They're not scared of you, right? No one's scared. And if you're Mexican, tienes huevos and Mexican huevos, you're not scared of shit. There's nothing, right? There's no way you could be a prominent figure in Mexico and Sinaloa like Julio Cesar Chavez, his father, and not break the cartels off. You are going to have to pay rent and break the cartels off. There's just no way around it. They're from Sinaloa. They're from Culiacan. I've been to Culiacan maybe 2 times only in my life. I've been to Mazatlan at least 3 or 4 times as a kid. I spent my first 13 summers in Mexico as a kid, right? Going for the school vacation, going to Mexico for 2 months, coming back to school, and here we go, right? So I'm positive, gente, whether you want to believe it or not, Julio Cesar Chavez, he wasn't breaking off the cartels. No, he was breaking off the cartels, gente. He was breaking off the cartels. My bad. Let me move these comments. He was breaking off the cartels big time. So was he involved in it? I don't know what the U.S. government has as far as tangible evidence. They're going to hand that over to Mexico. But Mexico can do what they want now. Slip them out the back door. I mean, come on, gente. It's Mexico, man. I mean, people are saying that the president of Mexico is cleaning up the cartels. That's a lie. You can't clean up the cartel. You can't go against the cartels in Mexico. You cannot, because you will disappear. Over 20-something people got unalived. These are governors, mayors, and candidates for the office of president, while Sheinbaum won. No one talks about that. Do you think that's just a coincidence? No, it's not. It's the cartels showing you who is really running this shit. They run it. That's not to say, oh, well, let's be scared of Mexico, scared of the mother. No, absolutely not, man. I love Mexico. Absolutely. I mean, look at that flag right there, man. A lot of people want me to remove the Mexican off the flag. A lot of people want me to remove the American off the Chicano flag. And I say, chinga tu madre, because it's not happening. We're American because we had the experience of being brown first in this country and trying to acclimate and find our way as we're Mexicans growing up with manteles and Mexican food and the fucking chancla and all that shit, right? So that's why we can't take the American out. That's why you can't take the Mexican off this flag. If you don't like this flag, that's on you. If you want to fly one flag more than the other, hey, that's fine as well. But let's not go extreme on either side of the ditch, okay? Because if I was extreme on the Mexican side, I wouldn't be here. For what? Why would I want to be in a country I don't like, I despise, or I want to shit on all the time? How does that fucking make sense? Just like the protest. You see 50 different flags flying. Okay, that's cool. In this country, you can do that, right? But why fly flags from other countries in a flag you want to be a citizen in? Wouldn't it make more sense to fly the American flag and be like, man, we're paying taxes. We're working. My parents have been here for 30 years. I got my BA. Give me citizenship. Excuse me. Which argument is going to get you a maybe? Not a for sure citizenship. I'm just saying, which argument is going to get you a maybe? Will the U.S. government consider you for citizenship if you fly 50 flags, burn the whole city down, right? You got a dude standing on top of a car with his fist up in the air, and that's a cool photo, right? That's a Time magazine photo of the whole city burning behind him, cars burning everywhere, and we're flying the Mexican flag. Again, right or wrong, I'll leave that up to you, man. I'm just here stating the fucking obvious, the evident, the facts. Is that going to get you a closer shot? Or will it be pleading your case, getting people of influence closer to political power? Shout out Karina Powers, to political power. That way you can make a case and make some change. We're going to do this shit, man. In my lifetime, we're going to do this shit, man. Nazar, that's right, my boy. I appreciate you, man. And spread the word. That's right, Cabron. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Tele Zavala says, tapping in, showing support for P. Nava. But Georgie says, hey, they're fighting for P. Nava in the comment section now. It's a fucking tug of war for P. Nava, man. Chingado, man. All right, let's go back. So anyways, let's wrap it up with Julio Cesar Chavez, man. That one is a wrap. Let's go back. Let's see what else we got on the boat. Let's see what else we got on board, man. Here we go. All right, got that one out. Okay. Ice Barbie. All right. Something coming from the food community right here.
We know Ozempic. Stop poking needles in your wherever you have to poke it for it. Stop putting food in your mouth. Stop being lazy and go to the gym and pump some iron. That's all it is. Have some discipline. Do know. Come on, compa. I know you're a little big and everything. Just get you right and everything. I love you, brother. G Money. You push that like it's crazy, fool. And realistically, Ozempic is like you're getting stuck in the matrix. If they're trying to push it on you in commercials and everything, guess what? You're going to be stuck in the hospital fighting cancer, fighting whatever it is. Just saca la bolsita, if anything. That's even better. All right?
All right, so here we go. We got Compa Raider from the new Poppin' Podcast, man. I want to give a shout out to All Facts Podcast. That podcast is poppin', man. It's very, very entertaining. Again, I like the dynamic of having the three on there. Unfortunately or fortunately, depends how you look at it, they're putting the three on them, I think, on Patreon. And so if you want to see all three of them shoot the shit together, because the chemistry is obviously there, you're going to have to subscribe over to the Patreon. But the Patreon's cool. You know what I mean? Shit. How many apps are you subscribed to anyways? $10 app, $5 apps. That ain't nothing, man. So really, really entertaining podcast. So here we got Compa Raider. I don't know about the pantalones, cabrón. I just got to keep it a buck, man. I mean, I get it. They could be $100 jeans, right? And shit like that. But anyways, let's move on from that. All right. So he's talking about Ozempic and he's throwing shots. He's saying, do know. And who else? G Money from the No Lames podcast. I guess they recently came out. I guess. I'm not sure. I don't even think I've seen it. But they are taking Ozempic, okay? Ozempic is a diabetes medicine. It's a diabetes medicine. Now, medicine that, what does it do? It suppresses your appetite. So it's not natural, 100% not natural. It's like when you take an ibuprofen for a headache. Does the headache really go away? No, it doesn't fucking go anywhere. It just, your neurological system disconnects the pain and doesn't register it no more, right? So that's like an ibuprofen. So again, all of it comes from side effects. Even ibuprofen, it's not natural. God didn't make these bodies right here to be taking unnatural stuff. But scientists, learned how to invent things to give us effects. And that's what Ozempic does, right? So it helps out diabetes, but because it suppresses your appetite, people are taking Ozempic in order to lose weight. I think taking Ozempic is is a shortcut, but it's a dangerous shortcut, man. It's a dangerous shortcut. It's good to lose weight, absolutely. You don't want all that pressure on your heart, man, which leads to high blood pressure, which can lead to cardiovascular issues. But he's knocking them, saying, why don't you get in the gym? Why don't you get in the gym? I mean, cálmate, pinche comparator. You even said it yourself. You're going to get in the gym. No more benders, no more drinking. And you're taking shots. You're in Miami right now taking shots and all that. And to each his own. I think, unfortunately, because of alcohol, most of the raza loses 5 or 10 years of their life. We cut our lives off 5 or 10 years by overindulging in alcohol. It takes your liver 72 hours to just process one drink of alcohol out of the system. 72 hours. Imagine the field workers that get cajas and cajas and cajas and go on 3-day benders. We're just literally just taking all this poison inside of us, right? So Ozempic, yeah, it's a cheap way to doing it, man. I did the little workout live. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. I put it in the members only because they had music on there. But I've been dieting and exercising now for years. The only reason I diet and exercise is because I'm going to outlive every motherfucker. That's it. I'm going to outlive everybody. I mean, I'm going to be 90-something years old with my great-great-grandkids and looking back like, good. I don't want to be the fucking drunk on the internet and benders every weekend and look at my cool photos with 10 beers or 10 shots. Now, I do drink like we did on Oompa's birthday live, but I'm an occasional drinker now. I might drink once a month. I'm a holiday drinker now. But if Ozempic works for you, that's cool. I just know this. It's going to come with side effects. None of these pastillas. Why do you think the doctors even prescribe these pastillas in the first place? Why at all? Period. Why? It's because they get a cut and they get a commission every time they put you on a pill. They get a cut, they get a commission. You go to the doctor, my ear hurts, here's a pill. My nose hurts, here's a pill. My eyebrow hurts, here's a pill. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's how it works. Everything hurts, you get a pill from the doctor. Ozempic, a magic pill to lose weight. I say you need to get disciplined. That's what you need to do. Get some discipline inside your life and do it. It's going to feel better anyways. You get rewarded. It feels better when the hard work pays off. When you shortcut something, it doesn't, there's no reward in that. You're cutting yourself off. So anyways, shout out to Compa Raider. He's knocking people. I'm not knocking people that take Ozempic. If they want to take Ozempic, let them take all the pinche Ozempic that makes them happy, man. Let them take the whole botella de pastillas y que le den gas, man. All right, here we are. Let me see. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up with this guy right here. Oh, man. So anyways, we're going to wrap it up with this one, gente. This is a driver that got licensed in California. He got his CDL, his Class A, and this is a tragic situation that ended up costing 3 people their lives. Now, before we get into that, I want to make it clear, okay? Politicians, people that have political agendas, they are going to politicize everything. Everything. Anything you can to push your political line. I'm all for blue. If it's everything blue, right? Blue. Or red. Everything red, right? You can tell who these cabrones are, right? They don't push brown like we push here, brown. We talk about brown issues. Speaking of that, Doctora Hortensia Jimenez, happy belated birthday over to you, mi amiga. She's going to be jumping on the podcast next month. So shout out to Doctora Jimenez, and it could possibly turn into a regular show on the podcast. So those we talk about brown issues, happy belated birthday to Doctora Hortensia Jimenez, man. She is a professor here at the College Hartnell, right in Salinas, man. But anyways, people politicize things, man. They jump on the channel. Sometimes they think it's a blue channel, it's a red channel, or this is a political channel. This is not a political channel, man. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, politics do govern our daily lifestyles. They do affect what's going to happen in the community, affect the economy, which ripples down to the brown community. So that's why we talk about politics sometimes, not all the times. So I just wanted to give that. I don't want you to think it's a red channel, blue channel, fucking Mikey CNN and Fox, and it ain't none of that shit, man. We deal with brown issues here, period, point blank. So now let's go over to this. But yes, again, because this is coming from a page that's politicizing, the incident that took place. I just want to bring some light to it and talk about it from a Chicano's point of view. Illegal immigrant. They're already starting off, right? Some people don't like the word illegal. It gets the hair on the back of their neck standing up like a rooster. But it is what it is. I'm reading it, right? Illegal immigrant given CDL, California driver license, in California, kills family of 3 after making an illegal U-turn in Florida. Excuse me. In the medians of the highway, sometimes there's openings, right? Those openings in the middle of the highway roads are only for first responders and police, right? CHP, police, sheriff, law enforcement. This guy ended up, and there's a sign that says you don't U-turn here. This is not, it's not a turnoff. There's a sign, right? This guy ended up going from the slow lane because he knew it needed to be a wide turn in order to get inside this place. But when he did this wide ass turn, he did not look in his mirrors. He did not look for oncoming traffic. I don't even know if the guy signaled at all, period, right? This guy is Middle Eastern. I don't know if he's Indian or whatever, but it says, it does say, let me read the caption then. Indian illegal immigrant Harjinder Singh has been charged with vehicular homicide after causing a crash that killed a family of 3 when their van collided with his truck during an illegal U-turn on a Florida highway. And the rest of it's talking about liberals and all that stuff. Okay. Anyways, he didn't even look in the mirror. He does this wide ass turn. And again, no one ever expects to hit full brakes when you're flying down a freeway, other than there's traffic, right? Okay, I get it. There's traffic. You're going to see a lot of red lights, bumpers. You're going to slow your ass down, right? But if it's open country and it's a 3-4 lane highway, right? Or at least it looked like 3 lanes. No one expects to hit the fucking brakes, right? And you could be distracted too as well. You could be distracted. I think it was maybe a minor distraction for like a fraction of a second or a second. Then all of a sudden they see a truck right across the whole freeway, like perpendicular, like parallel to the fucking freeway. And you're like, what? How does this make sense? It looks like a fucking wall of a truck, right? They slam right into it. Eran 3 pinches personas. Boom! You can see the impact, right? And that's horrible to even show this too. I apologize. It's a little graphic because the accident ended up 3 people being unalived. There he is pulling off the turn. There he is. He did it. This guy is arrested. This guy is in custody right now. And now they are probing how many people has California given a Class A driver's license to that failed the exam. He failed. He failed the exam, number 1. He doesn't read or write English, number 2. Why is California giving away CDL Class A driver's licenses to drivers that are not passing the test? If this dude can't read or write English, again, I'm trying to be biased. I hope I don't fucking sound like, well, whatever. They're going to clip it or call me whatever, but I'm trying to look at this thing objectively, right? If this dude can't read or write English, how the fuck can he even read a stop sign then? How could he even read a Caltrans information jumbotron? He can't. So how many people did California give driver licenses to now is the investigation. And a lot of this is going to fall back on the governor. Absolutely. Is going to fall back on the governor. Again, this could be a different ideology. This could be a liberal ideology, you know. Nowadays, we live in a day and time where if you don't do something that someone wants and say they have a liberal ideology, the first thing is you're racist. No, you're not racist. You're fucking unqualified. Horrible scene. 3 people lost their lives. California needs to be probed a whole lot more. How many other pinche CDLs that did they give away? It's a wrap, man. I don't want to talk about this pinche vato right here no more, man. He's facing justice. Should he go to CCOT or not? Let's see what the people say. Let me go back over here. Old school boxing with Sergio. That's right. I'm getting my CDL right now here in Cali. That's right, man. Shout out to Cholo Juan, man. Cholo Juan got it on the second try, not the first try. He got it on the second try. But shout out to Cholo Juan, man. I think he is. I think he's OTR because he's going to Florida and different states, and that's cool, man. So shout out to them. For my school, you have to have 11th to 12th grade English math. That's not old boy. Old boy can't even read and write English. That's elementary level then, right? But not just that, he got 3 out of the 12 questions right on the test. He wasn't qualified to drive. So what happens is maybe he comes from his country. All due respect. He comes from his country. Maybe that's how they drive in his country. They just fucking a la brava do these crazy jackknife hook turns that'll cause you to jackknife. He didn't. But the scariest thing is this dude that it slams into the truck. This dude like has no expression. He looks at it like, oh, did that just happen? Let me pull over. And he's on the side of the road like this. Like fucking Humpty Dumpty. And 3 people passed away. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Too many kids cosplaying adults around here, man. You ain't lying about that, man. Shout out to Mo, man. I appreciate you, Cabron Vic. Maniac. Yeah, he's real. El Real Maniac is on the road now. Trucha, man, with the Real Man. Sending mine to the chat. You love me some football and some 49ers starting at 1 p.m. Yeah, I got to cut out of this thing, man. I think I'm not going to watch it because, to be honest, preseason is like, I just got the Fire Stick yesterday, I just got the Fire Stick. So the homie is, he wants me to call him on FaceTime so he could show me what to do. So anyways, you guys, I'm out. I appreciate you guys. Live on Chicano Tube, live on Chicano Street. Enjoy your weekend. I'm signing off. We'll be back with more midday fixes on the road. More Chicano Street, episode 4 coming up. Too much game with FC. Be on the lookout for other special guests that are going to jump on the platform. And we're going to be talking about Brown issues and talking about a lot more things. But you guys, I am out. Enjoy the weekend. Remember what I always say, beautiful linda raza, man. Beautiful linda raza, man. Hug on your loved ones. Stop, smell the roses. If this internet shit is causing you panic, anxiety, depression, or whatever, hit the X and your depression goes away. How about that? I'm out, you guys. I'll see you guys. Remember what I always say? In the end, all you got is the memories.